Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about preparing for your first year of film school. Now I'm going to give you a quick background on my experience in film school and how I kind of came up with these tips. So I am a sophomore in film school. I went to Columbia College Chicago last year. I'm going there again this year. I'm a film major. My specific major is called Cinema Arts and Science. So basically my first semester we had to take a couple very basic film classes. Every film student had to take them. They taught you how to, collaborate with other students. We made some films together. We learned basic, film techniques and things like that. So everybody had to take those two classes. We made like 3 or 4 films in there. And then my second semester, we're allowed to start taking, different ones depending on like our concentration, whether we're like directing or producing or cinematography. We can choose different classes that we wanted to take that will either help our major or is just in the general film program. So I took an acting and directing workshop and I took intro to digital cinematography. And I didn't really make any films in either of those classes. I learned a lot more techniques behind it. Like the acting one was a lot more like learning the relationship between like actors and directors. And then my cinematography class was a lot more on the technical aspect and working with cameras. We did make one kind of film in that class. It wasn't like a super professional one. We just had to get out and use the cameras and learn the techniques behind it. So that is basically my background in my first year of film school, and now I'm going to share with you some tips that I wish I would have known before I started my first year of film school. So the first one is to have a basic sense of filmmaking. You should understand what most of the jobs are, how to work a basic camera. Now I'm not saying you have to know how to work every single little digital aspect and every tiny detail of the camera, no, but knowing how to at least work it, turn it on, and adjust a few of the settings and know what they mean is pretty important. And having some basic editing skills is good as well. Not all schools are going to start at the very beginning. They're expecting if you want to go to film school and start working and learning all this stuff, that you've at least done it in the past and have a desire to do so. So they don't expect you to be a total beginner, at least at my school. And there was some kids like that who you could kind of tell didn't really have much experience on it. They're just like, film sounds kind of fun, let's try that. But they've never actually done it before or worked with cameras and never actually tried editing before. So you could definitely tell in their films. And then other kids were like super great, which made me really nervous actually. But don't get nervous by them. Like, everybody's on different experience levels. That's what school is for, is to teach you. And yeah, you could definitely see the broad range of where like some students were like just beginning with cameras and some have been doing this for like 10 years probably. But I think having a basic understanding on film and editing is super important no matter which college you're going to. Something you can do before the first day is to make sure you don't have any summer homework. Sometimes classes assign summer homework. It sucks, but it's just real life. Or you can also see if they want you to bring something on the first day of class. Like my class last year, they recommended we bring our camera on the first day because on the first day we started working right on a film. We went right out into, Chicago and started working on things. So I had to bring my camera, and if I wouldn't have had it or looked online, I probably would have had to just use like my phone camera, then the quality wouldn't have been as good. And so I was happy I checked online first. Some teachers will also recommend that you buy certain things, like maybe a type of flash drive, or sometimes you need textbooks and stuff. So definitely check online to see if you need anything. Another thing you should have is some goals for the year. Maybe you have a list of things you want to learn how to do. Maybe you want to collaborate with some people. Maybe you want to try a new technique that you've never done, or try a new position like behind the camera that you've never done. Maybe you have an idea for a short film you want to do and that you can bring it up in class and start working on it. But having some goals that you really want to learn or do throughout the year I think is pretty important, because then you can see how far you've come if you actually accomplished these goals and learned the things that you wanted to. And my last bit of advice is to have some equipment. And no, I'm not saying to go out and buy a $1,000 camera and all the most expensive equipment you can buy. I started off my freshman year with just a point-and-shoot camera, basic tripod, basic things, but throughout the year I got more and more gear. I now have a Canon T5i, which is a DSLR, which is so much better, a great upgrade from my point-and-shoot. It's just so much more versatile. I also now have an actual microphone on my camera that works well, and I didn't have that throughout my entire year. So what I'm saying is it's just nice to own some of your own stuff, especially if your college doesn't loan out equipment to you. I'm lucky in the sense that my college does. We have a big old film cage and we're allowed to check out equipment. We've got really nice cameras in there, got Canon C100s, Canon C200s that we can actually just check out and use. We got boom mics and poles. and we're allowed to use any of that stuff and then bring it back. And if you don't go to a college where that's accessible, you're going to be expected to own all your own equipment and have to use that all for all of your projects. And even though I did have access to all that, I still really enjoyed having my own stuff, because then you can get really familiar with your own stuff and know how to use it better. And also, if I didn't feel like going all the way to the film building and all the way back, or if they were closed or things like that, I would have my own camera and own stuff to use if I ever needed to. And some colleges even require you to buy certain brands of cameras or certain things and bring them to class, which can get super expensive. But if you buy them ahead of time and learn how to work them, you'll have a leg up from everybody else. But that is basically it for this video. I really hope you learned something, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section anything about film school or anything I said in this video. I will try to get back to you in the comment section about that. So hopefully you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing, because I have lots of other film related videos and tutorials on my channel. So thank you for watching.